Hello, hello. We are the, I don't remember, first week of January. So the goal is to get this thing ready by the summer. I think it's achievable if I put some pressure on the project. So let's start. As you can see, I bought a already revised rear axle, and there are some stuff that I will need to put from this one over onto this one. Also some stuff I will have to replace, like brake discs, of course. So I just started removing these old shock absorbers. So the first bolt I was able to remove. Everything is very rusted, so I had to use a lot of WD-40. And then over here we have the shock absorbers for the rear that are going to be on the new axle. So without further ado, let's get going.
A few moments later.
It's not really coming off. I think I will be needing a impact wrench or something to loosen up these bolts because it's just too rusted. So I figured I might start by removing the wheels and then lifting up the car, so I can remove the axle that's currently there, and I think that might be easier for me to then know how to put it back and know which parts I will be needing on this one. I managed to jack up the car. I think I'm going to order 2 more of these to lift the whole car up at some point. But yeah, so this is the rusty drum brake rear axle that is going to be removed, and there's a whole lot of rust down here. Maybe I'll clean that up as well at some point.
One week later.
Good morning. It's freezing cold, but I have bought some new stuff that maybe, or hopefully, will help this process get along a little bit quicker. So I bought an impact wrench and a lamp, which is also very useful because if you're underneath there with your phone, it's not that bright. Let's go. So, of course, when I bought the impact tool, there was a set of these things with it. The most used sizes, and of course, Peugeot being Peugeot, I needed an 18mm. So I went to the shops and found one after the second shop, because the first one didn't have those. So we can finally continue. Let's try this thing for the first time. Yahoo! That did something. It's loose. There's stuff in my eye. Okay. That makes me happy. So now the other side, and then we'll loosen up everything completely, and then normally the rear axle should come off. I'm a happy boy. So with some light, normally you should be able to see it more clearly now, how this thing is actually connected. So you can see how very rusty, crusty it is. So this whole thing, the whole rear axle is only connected with 4 connections. So this one, and that's the one we just had to use an impact wrench for to get off. And then the other, sorry, hit the camera. The other one is this one. And if you go straight up through the car, that's the one the rear cage is actually connected to. So that's one. On the other side, 2. And if you take the other one, that's the one all the way down there. So same on the other side. So now I'll have to release these bolts completely. And then I made this little tower of tires to try and get this thing, so the whole axle, onto the tires, and hopefully do not get the weight of the whole axle on the exhaust, because it just overlaps a little bit, as you can see here. And also there's a little bit, a piece of the, let me get some light, the rear fuel, there's only one, the fuel tank. So I have to be careful for that. Okay, let's get started. I have to stop saying let's get started. I'm already doing it. Anyway, let's go. Totally forgot about the brake lines. So now this thing is hanging off with only 2.5 bolts. No, 1.5. It's hanging on with only 1.5 bolts. Now I realize that I have to disconnect the brake lines first. Yeah. If I'm going to disconnect them, they're going to be leaking, aren't they? Let's do some research first. We'll be back.
A few moments later.
Okay, so I looked up some stuff. They basically said if you're going to replace the brake lines anyway, just cut them and replace them. So that's what I'm going to do. However, I do not have anything to, I don't have a dripping pan or anything to put the dripping brake fluid in, but I do have a whole lot of cardboard around, so I'm going to put that underneath, and hopefully it's not too much, and I'm going to find a more permanent solution for next time. So I figured out that this thing is, I think, the handbrake. So this clip because that thing is coming from the front and it's quite flexible, so that's the handbrake. Brake line is up here. The piece that's actually to the rear axle itself I don't really need to cut because that will come off with the rest. The things I need to cut are the ones coming from down there. I'm trying to figure out where they come from, because if I need to replace them, I need to know where they go. The floor is cold. Everything's cold. Oh, what? Okay, so that's the handbrake. I've said that a few times now. But where does the brake line go? Does this car even have brakes? Where are the brake lines? God damn it. Go watch the other side. Oh, there they are. Makes sense. So if I cut them, if I cut one here and the other one on the other axle, on the other side, then I think I should be good to go. So I just have to detach the handbrake. How is that connected? With rust? Let's figure it out. Okay, as far as I can figure out from what's written in that book is that I should take apart the drum disc brakes to disconnect the handbrake. I am debating, however, if a race car should even have a handbrake, because at this point I also have no idea how to fit a handbrake to the other rear axle with disc brakes. So for now I am going to try and leave them and decide later, once I figure out how that works or how any of that goes. As far as I remember on how to remove these things, I think you have to hammer this little piece off and then things happen. Aha! That's a big one. Is it that one? No, it's a lot bigger. Even bigger. What? I think that's the biggest one I have. I'm lucky. This is the biggest one I have. So, turns out what I was doing was correct. It's just very rusty and stuck. What's also still stuck is the brake, the handbrake cable. So I am just going to put this thing back, remove the whole cable from the middle somewhere. It's just a few bolts, it's easier. And I'm not going to let this stop me from getting this rear axle off today. The work continues. Maybe I'll just cut them too. Ow! Fuck! I went home, had lunch, and when I got back I started attacking this thing with a bit more force, and I managed to disassemble it completely and as well finally disconnect the handbrake. So now for the other side. God damn it. Now just for the other side. Okay, let's go underneath here. As you can see, so the brake line goes through here, around the back, then it comes out here, through here, all there, then all the way over there to the other side. So I think if I just cut it here, then I can take the axle off. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so I don't have any tube cutters, so something I'll have to add to my work materials. So that's on pause for now, because it's Saturday afternoon, everything's closed. So I'm not going to be able to find anything to continue on that. So I think I'll try to get the short shifter in while we're at it. So I'll have something done today. Of course, it's too big. I'm just loosening these bolts. I don't know if that's the correct order in which you should do things. Let's go underneath and find. If it looks like I'm clumsy and I have no idea what I'm doing, that's because you are correct. Let's continue. Big block. Viewing area. And then